keep this party going, please welcome to the stage, Lindsay Potter, giving you the audacity to find your authentic self.
Hi, everyone. Oh, so inspired. Well, 15 years ago, I had it all, and then I met my husband. I don't mean it like that. We met, we fell in love, everything happened very fast, but what I had was a dream job. I had literally been offered the job I had been working toward for 6 years. I was in television production, and I really wanted to be a host, and I was offered the job. 2 days later, I met my now husband, and life got in the way. I had to make a choice. I couldn't have both, and I chose love, and I chose family, which was right for me at the time. It's still right for me, still right, still right. You know that, he loves that part. The dream that I had got deferred. It wasn't lost, it just got shifted, and I chose a different path in my life. Went down that path and then got another job, which was an unexpected dream for me. I got to work with the brand Lululemon. I'm sure you've heard of it. As they were coming to the States, I opened and managed the second store on the East Coast in my hometown of Greenwich, Connecticut. And I had the privilege of building community in the wellness space. It's my favorite thing to do. And I got to coach my team to their goals, another favorite thing of mine, which would ultimately lead to where I am today in my life, in part. So I was so lucky to be able to do that. And I had incredible job experiences at my time with Lululemon. And you're sitting in the front row, it's tough. And then I got pregnant with our first child and was put on bed rest. A completely unexpected turn in my life. And I was stuck. I couldn't move. I literally couldn't. My mother had to come and sit physically on me because I was such an active and am such an active human being that she had to sit on me so that I would protect the baby. I ended up having the baby. She was in the NICU. And when I went back to work, which had always been a part of my identity, I had to go back in a very different fashion. And I didn't have the job that I had going into the pregnancy. I was reduced to a lower level job and I had to start over. So I forged a new path. I decided to do something new. I took a job with TED Talks. Anyone heard of the TED Talks? So I love the TED Talks, and this was TED Med, so it was science and medicine. So I got to hang out with some of the coolest, most interesting people in the world. I got to help Richard Simmons get over his stage fright. Talk about stage fright. You know, we all get a little nervous. So I had such an amazing experience there. And then from there decided, what do I want to do next? What do I really want in my life? And I started listening to myself, not in the way that I do now, but I started listening. I want to move forward and doing the things that I love. So I chased after an opportunity with a beverage brand. I love all of the beverages that are here being sponsors tonight. I am very familiar with all of you. I got the director of marketing job at a startup brand. We took it from nothing to being sold to Anheuser-Busch in 3 years. It was the most incredible experience. It was here locally. And we were the category creator for the hard seltzer movement. You may have heard of it, Spike Seltzer, but now it's owned by Budweiser and called something else. Through that experience, which was very emotional at the end, I then had to jump into another job and another job in the beverage space, still working with disruptive brands that were doing such cool stuff. And I wore all the hats. In startups, you wear every single hat. I used to call it a fedora, a toupee, not a toupee, you wear all the hats, you do all of the jobs. And then I was laid off from my last job in beverage. I was head of marketing and I was laid off with 12 other people. It wasn't personal, but it was scary. I was terrified. I was terrified to not have a salary anymore. I was terrified of what benefits we would lose as a family. And I was terrified that I didn't want to go back to doing what I had been doing. And then COVID hit 2 months later. Does anyone remember in March 2020? Where you were? I mean, I know where you were physically. You were in your home with your families if you had them. And but where were you mentally, emotionally? I know that I was in a place where I really needed change. And so this is where I started rebuilding my life. And I've listened to everyone. I've been so inspired because so many of us have followed the same path. But I started meditating. I was taught how to meditate. That changed everything for me. Through meditation, I learned I could never sit still. I always used the excuse, I can't meditate, I can't sit still. Well, I had to learn. I had to force myself to learn because it was going to change my life, and it has. And through meditation, I learned that there are things that were holding me back, that I needed to start sacrificing, changing habits. I cut back on alcohol. I didn't need it anymore. It wasn't doing me any favors. I started moving my body more. I started spending time with people who were supportive. It was a mutually supportive relationship. I started doing things audaciously, like signing up for this Drop the Mic, something I've always wanted to do, which takes me back to where I began in having the dream of being a host. I started a podcast to share the stories of women who were also being audacious and chasing after their dreams. And I'm on my 17th episode, and it's been the best ride ever. So what I want to leave with all of you tonight, and thank you for being here, is listen to yourself. Take the time for you. Put the oxygen mask on first. Listen to what you truly want to find your compass and move forward in the direction that works for you. Thank you.